Yo, 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 Ram fans. Welcome to Swollapalooza Thursday. Thanks for joining me. I'm Steve Ivy. This is the first in-season Swollapalooza Thursday, and I have my first in-season player joining me tonight, Kyle Jorgensen. I'm so excited to have Kyle. We'll spend 20 to 30 minutes with him. Those of you that are out there, I want this to be as interactive as possible. If you've got questions or comments for Kyle, let me know. I mean, I've already got a comment from my buddy Jake. Kyle gonna be a dog this year. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. He was a dog on Monday on opening day in the Rams 98 to 64 win over Incarnate Word. Notice I didn't say Immaculate Word. So anyway, thanks Jake for the comment. We'll bring Kyle on in a few minutes. Um, I just wanted to say I've been waiting all day to do. I couldn't wait to do this interview. This is a fun one. Kyle's been a great supporter of the show. He appeared a couple times last year, and this will be his third appearance. And I think that'll tie him with. I don't know if I think I had Jalen Lake three times, Bowen Bourne three times. I think I've had Isaiah on three times, and so it'll be fun. He might end up if he stays all 4 years at CU, he's probably going to be my first guy in double figures. So anyway, it's so exciting to have him. I'm gonna just briefly. It's been an interesting start to the week within the Mountain West, and I'm just gonna talk briefly about what's been going on around the Mountain West. I don't do power rankings. I let other people do those. Um, but some of the teams have opened very, very well. Obviously, CSU looked very, very good, and they're up in terms of overall perception. San Diego State opened. They were unanimous pick for the Mountain West Championship. They opened up with a really good 30-plus point win over Long Beach State. And Long Beach State isn't a killer, but they're a decent Big West team. You get a 30-point win over a Big West team, you're doing something. Utah State played a D2 school and beat them by about 70. They have a big game tomorrow night, first big game of the year in the Mount for anybody in the Mountain West when they play Virginia Commonwealth on a neutral. Nevada had a really, really good win as well over Louisiana Tech. They won by 30. Louisiana Tech is a good, solid program. And to win by 30 over them. Grand Canyon had a 20-point win over Indy. Let's see, IPFW, I think, Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, 20-point win. New Mexico, 20-point win over another Southland team. I'm trying to remember who they played, but cruised, played great defense, not a real smooth offensive performance. Wyoming had a nice win over Northern State, D2. San Jose State had a tough loss, about a 12-point loss at Utah. A good Big 12 team, obviously. Air Force lost at Belmont. Boise State, UNLV, Fresno all lost. Fresno was their second game. They had played against a D2 school, and they had won that easily, but then they played last night against, God, I'm spacing on it, and ended up losing by one against a 300 plus Ken Palm team at home in Fresno, and it was not a good loss. Boise lost to a Division II school, Hawaii Pacific, whose school is in an ex strip mall in Hawaii, and they play in like an old health club gym. That's their home court. So and UNLV lost last night by 5 points to I'm spacing on I'm spacing on the teams, but they lost, and they're struggling with injuries, and it was announced their point guard's going to be out for at least the expected starting point guard's going to be out for 2 months and possibly the entire season. So we'll see how that goes. I've got some comments here. There we go. How about the Dortch Bucket Monday night? Fun game. It was. We talked about it in the post game, Taylor, a beautiful little jump hook for about 8 feet. That was nice. It was awesome. Lee with the comment, Field of 68, Rob Doster and Jeff Goodman had Brandon Recksteiner on today, uh, and did a nice interview. It was fun to hear him. Oh, there we go. USC Upstate. That's who beat UNLV, as opposed, or no, wait, that's who beat. I'm sorry, Fresno, and then UT Martin. Tennessee Martin was the team that beat UNLV. Interestingly enough, that UT Martin team, it's going to be an interesting model for some of these lower conference schools. They're all foreigners. You can go out and get some pretty good foreigners for pretty cheap. And so they brought in a whole slew of foreigners, and they're not that bad. They're all probably older. I haven't checked the ages of them, but they're all a little bit older. My guest isn't here yet. I hope he's not having problems. I'm waiting for Kyle. I'm going to talk a little more. We're going to have to, hopefully he's out there somewhere, not in Never Never Land. Let me send him a quick note here. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting start for those teams. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on them. And I never get worked up. You obviously don't want to lose any of those games, but don't think that anybody's season is over. There's a lot of ground to be made up, and so we'll see how it goes. I am excited. Here we go. Bad look with Boise losing. They got outplayed. I watched the replay of it. Obviously, they were playing at the same time we were, and I watched the replay of it. And to be honest with you, they got outplayed and out hustled, out schemed, out. I mean, they ran their stuff better than Boise did, and I got a funny comment. I'll get to it in a second, but it was a shocker because I think Boise's pretty good, and I think they're going to be fine. Um, don't be picking on our freshman, Mr. Ivy. This is a New Mexico fan. I'm not going to pick on your freshmen. Your freshmen were your two leading scorers yesterday. New Mexico was decent yesterday. I thought the offense was a little bit rugged. They were barely a point per possession against a team that isn't that good, but their defense was fantastic, and they held them to a little over 0.7 of a point per possession, which will win every game you play if you do that to good teams. Now they'll start getting good tests over the next few games. They'll play a better team with UT Arlington this weekend, and next weekend they have the big rivalry game with whatchamacallit. Let me say, geez. Kyle thinks he's in, and I don't have him, and I don't know why. Let me send him another link, okay? Hang on. That's going to take me a little bit. Sorry about that, gang. Sorry about that, gang. Give me a second. We'll get them. But I'm not picking on your freshmen. I thought they played really, really well. But the big game's tomorrow night. Just to let everybody know, I will be starting my stream with Tom Moser on Saturday night, tonight in the Mountain West, and we will cover all the games on Saturday. There's a lot at 2:00, and the game that we're going to be most focused on will be UNLV plays at 7:00. So and then Nevada at 8 o'clock. So we'll be on after the UNLV game ends. Give me a second here. I've gotta get into my shoot. This is what happens when you're not real good on Windows. My iPad, gang. Sorry. Technical difficulties. I don't know why he's not here. Okay. All right, let's get started. Okay, Sunday game. Yes, Omaha going down the wire. I was watching it. I know I saw it was a 4 point game with 5 minutes to go. I watched the first half. It was tied. Abilene Christian took the lead. They were up by about 8, and I saw it was down to 4 with 5 minutes to go. So Omaha will be an interesting test. They had one guard who could score like crazy, and we'll see how that goes. I just sent Kyle another link. Hopefully he'll make it in. Kyle. Is Kyle still working out? Ram tough. It's funny. I think we had problems last year. The first time I had Kyle on, I think I had a problem with him coming on last year. There was something going on with his with his internet. Oops. Sent it to the wrong people. I said, yeah, sorry, I sent the link to the wrong person. I sent it to Marty. my partner, Marty Lenz. I've been communicating with Marty just to let everybody know. And if you've been following, Marty is going to be doing the color for the CSU football game on Saturday against UNLV with Brian Roth. And I decided that I'd get Brian Roth in for my Monday morning show. So we're going to have Brian in, and we'll have some fun talking with Brian about the first week of the CSU season, and then obviously we're going to have him critique Marty, and we'll have some fun on Monday morning on the show. Okay, we're waiting to hear from Kyle. Hang the banner Sunday. Yes, we are going to hang the banner Sunday. Thank you. I was going to talk with Kyle about that. I'm on my fingers. I don't know what's going on. This is the first time, and I'm not getting him. I've had we have technical problems sometimes with networks and stuff like that. And the fact that you can see me means I'm streaming and I'm working, and hopefully that's. Let me check something else here. Let me enter myself. Let me see if I can enter from another computer.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
can
can
enter.
enter.
So,
So I'm getting in from my other computer. So I'm not sure what's going on with Kyle. I don't know what I can do. Technical difficulties. Oh well. We're gonna have to let's figure out a way to do a fun show. What you got questions for me, gang? Fire some questions at me. Let's talk. Let's chat. We can use our time well. Let's not waste our time. Um, I wanted to talk to. Here we go. Our point on last year's North Dakota to Texas, or excuse me, Tennessee State was a good one. What might happen that could cause that slip? That, I don't know. That is such a good question. But sometimes, Jake, I think one of the things that can happen is that teams can see you on film and they may not have seen you before. The other thing that can happen is sometimes teams um, need a game under their belt to be good, and sometimes you have teams that are going to struggle, and they may go good game, bad game, and you may see some inconsistency. And I think I think the slip last year was caused by the fact that we were not a really, really good team at the beginning of the year. We really weren't, and we were inconsistent. We were going to, we talked, Kyle, we were going to talk about that and how good this team got toward the end of the year. But if you remember when we started, we had Kyle playing center as a freshman, and it was a learning experience for him. We got murdered on the boards by Tennessee State. If I remember, that was they beat us by like 20 on the boards, and that's what kept them in the game. But Kyle starting and Croc playing a lot of 5. We were very, very. Here we go. Let's try this. Let me try something else, gang. We are going to do it. We're going to get Kyle on. Trust me, he's coming. Sorry. Real time on the fly. All right, that'll do it. There we go. If this doesn't do it, we're gonna have to plan on Kyle some other night. I was impressed with Darnez Slater. Very smooth. You know, Lee, that Darnez was really good against Creighton. And we have actually 3 really good backup guards, all young and all with Division I bodies. Darnez, Jace Butler, who came here from Washington. And here we go. Kyle's here. He's here. I don't see his face yet. He's coming. He's coming. We're waiting on his face. Anyway, I can keep talking. There, hey, there you are. Can you hear me okay?
How are we doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Welcome. I know every once in a while, you know, there's only, I haven't had a problem before, but I do know, I remember Nico telling me once, sometimes I have trouble on my phone, email me the link. And so I'll start doing that a little more. Here we go. JoJo's on, finally. Hey, so welcome. Let's get started. I've been kind of trying to kill some time, and I've managed to kill it really well. Have all kinds of questions, guys. Fire questions at Kyle. We'll get this thing as interactive as possible. But let's get started. You know, let me get a banner up for you. I got a nice banner ready to go for you. Here we go. Sophomore 6'9" center. Good to have you, man, after a great opening day. But I wanted to start just by talking about, just get closure on kind of how we got into the start of this season, how we closed last season. You know, you were a great guest of mine, came on a couple times, one real early after you won Freshman of the Week. But the other one, which I thought was one of my best shows, was I brought you on in about February, and we talked pretty much about the education of freshman big in the Mountain West Conference. And we talked about you going up night after night against guys 4 years older than you with 4 more years in the weight room and 4 more years of Division I experience. And you were real open and honest about it. And I really, really appreciate it. I thought it was a wonderful, wonderful show. And so for you to come on now and to get, we'll be talking more about, what's gone on with you, but it was,
Mhm.
you stuck with it. You played a key role in a conference championship, an NCAA tournament win, 1 second and one step away from a Sweet 16. What did
Man,
that feel like at the end of the year for you?
honestly, I feel like there's no other way to describe it than surreal. It all kind of happened so fast. I would say you don't even realize it really happened. Those last 2 or 3 weeks, I want to say, with the tournament, with both tournaments, it just flew by. You were just every day there was a new game, every day there was a new scout, and you just had to go to the next day.
You know the we found out, I can't remember if it was today or yesterday, that they're going to hang the banner on Sunday. What is your first thought going to be when you see that banner go up?
I think I'm gonna get flooded with some good memories, man. Last year, obviously, we had a lot of great people on team. It was a great freshman year. I couldn't have asked for a better one, I'd say. And I'm just gonna think of the guys that made it special. So it'll be a good one for sure.
Yeah, from a fan perspective, my thoughts are around all the guys on the team that were so much a part of it. It was such a wonderful, just a wonderful group of players that we really, it was just fun from a fan perspective. But so you had a wonderful, successful season. You quickly announced, after the season, you were returning to CSU. Did you have any thoughts of going into the portal?
I'll be honest. I was torn for a little bit. Obviously Minnesota's home. That campus is like 10 minutes from my house, so I grew up going there a lot. But I think I found a second home out here. I really love it out here. And when Coach Ali called me, I knew it was going to be hard to be what he was telling me. So but Ali's been a great coach so far, and I love playing for him.
Yeah, so I mean, we were excited. It was fun because one by one, all you guys announced that you were coming back, and but that was the start of the start of really an off season that had to be a big one for you. And I had Jason Phillips, Coach JP, on earlier this, I think probably June, July, and we talked about just the whole strength and conditioning with this team, and he highlighted three people. He highlighted Carrie Booth, he highlighted Docker, but he highlighted you as being someone who was really, really committed to making major changes in terms of your strength and conditioning. Did you set some goals at the beginning of the off season? And what steps did you take to meet them in terms of strength and conditioning?
I don't really know if there was a goal in mind, but I knew there had to be change. I knew I had to. I think a big thing for me last year, I had flaws in defense and rebounding, and that's why I couldn't stay on the floor for long periods of time. It's kind of hard to play somebody who can't really defend and can't rebound the ball that well. So I knew there had to be some big changes in that, and I took it really seriously. I just had the mentality of one day at a time and 1% better every day.
The a lot of people, I see, I come to practice a lot, and I saw the kind of the transformation, but the number of people that have made comments after seeing you going, the baby fat's gone and he looks a lot bigger. Now, are you bigger in terms of weight, or is it just more strength?
I actually lost a ton of weight. I'm probably down 12 or 13 pounds in total. I think I was about 238 at the beginning of the spring, and now I'm down to like 226. But I'm leaner, but I put on a lot of muscle, and I lost I want to say 5% of body fat. So I would say I took the weight room seriously, but I think it was my habits. My changing my eating habits and changing my getting extra sleep, getting extra treatment in, staying on top of that. I think that's what really changed it.
Yeah, I imagine, I know what I was like when I was young, and the late night runs to fast food places. You probably had to get rid of a lot of that stuff,
Yeah,
huh?
for sure. The high school habits had to go.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk. One of the things that and I can't remember if it was Ali or one of the assistants mentioned. I think it was Ali right at the beginning of when he started the off season team workouts, was so excited because he had all three of the bigs back. He had you, he had Rashawn, and he had Nicola. And he last year it was so different. You had Rashawn injured, Nicola wasn't here, and it was you in as a freshman drinking through a fire hose. And he was excited because he thought it allowed the team to hit the ground running. You had so many new faces. It was so much to learn with the offense to have a five that have three different guys playing the five position. Um, was a major head start over last year. But there's another part of that is you guys could be leaders in terms of helping other guys out. Is that something that you took upon yourself to try and become more of a leader at these early practices?
Yeah, for sure. Especially in the summer, I think that was one of the highlights that I talked to Ali, but I also talked to guys like Coach Deweese and Coach Foster a lot about this. But it was something I wasn't really used to. As a freshman, you kind of want to let the old guys talk a little bit. That's kind of their role, and I felt like as a freshman, it was kind of tough to find my leadership role, but for sure this summer, I had to ask a lot of questions. It wasn't something I was familiar with, but over time, I think I've gotten better for sure. I think there's another level I can get to, but I think I've gotten better.
Well, it's fun watching. From my perspective, it's really fun watching the development of a big man in this system. And I go back to the first good big we had in Nico's system was a guy, and you've met him, Nico Carvaccio. He's been to practice, and it's not something. There's a lot of timing that goes into running this offense well, and Nico was exceptional at it.
Mhm.
You're a much better. You seem like you have a much better feel for when to be in certain spots and when things need to happen. Is that am I overanalyzing it, or is it something you're just more comfortable?
Nah, I think just as well as we do that center in this playing the five in this offense is a lot different than most other offenses. But I think that's something that why I loved it out here from the get go is because I really saw myself fitting here well. Just the way I played and the tendencies I had, and I think that that was huge out the start. I remember seeing film. They kind of compared my high school games to some of their offense, and I was like, man, that looks familiar. So yeah.
Now we've also seen you when I first ran into you. It might have been the end of last year, beginning of this year. I can't remember when, but you also talked about how you'd probably get a chance to play some of the four position as well,
Mhm.
not just the five, but the four. And you did play some at Creighton. You didn't get a chance against Incarnate Word because we were down a man at the
Yeah.
five. But what fundamentally, what are the differences for a guy like you playing the four versus the five?
Oh man, it's a pretty big change. 1 through 4 pretty much in this offense are pretty much the same, and the five is totally different. So I'd say mostly just the timing and the cutting, and it's a lot of just reading off, like it's just reading off ball movements, and I usually in this offense I have the ball out of my hands, so it's a little different. But it's nothing I haven't really done before. Obviously, like you said, in Creighton I played the four a lot. Obviously we were down Augie, and now we were down Rashawn. So, duty calls every night. Whatever Coach Ali feels I got to do. I'm ready to do it.
That's something unique, and it's something that's fun from a fan perspective. Watching this program is virtually every one of the players can interchange and play multiple positions, and it's a system like you said, 1 through 4. You can have a two slide into a three slide into a four, a one slide into a two slide, and it's fun to watch because it means you can throw so many different lineups out there and different combinations depending on how you might want to match up with the other team. Hey, I wanted to ask you a question about just kind of comparing this year's team to last year's team. One of the things I noticed was in last year's team, especially those last few months. When I'd go to a practice, I thought that team just had a remarkable ability to focus on the task at hand that day. Never thought about yesterday, never thought about tomorrow. Always very, very, and the practices were so crisp, so well. Everybody was into it. And I mean, everybody was on point for the hour and a half or 2 hours. Do you see similar characteristics with this year's team?
I do. I think it's a little different. I often see myself comparing the teams a little bit too, but I think it's kind of hard. Obviously, with last year, you had so many veterans that were here, like obviously Neek and Lake and even Cayenne. That second year, even that second year is so much different than that first year. So I just think that with this year, we've got so many new guys in different spots that we didn't have last year. So I think it's hard to compare, but I do see similar characteristics. I think I think we got a lot of room to grow at still, which is I think is exciting, but I can see us getting there for sure.
Is some of that, how much of that is player driven versus coach driven, kind of the mentality of how you approach practice? Is it or is it both?
I would say it's some of it's both, but I think who Ali like what Ali's like. He's super focused all the time. His mind is racing. But I think we're getting more and more player as well. So we're getting the new guys, the new guys, I guess now. The transfers are now they're understanding it more and more every day. So their leadership is growing too.
Yeah, it's kind of it's fun to watch. As it was fun for me over the course of the summer because I could go watch a practice and I could see one of the new players struggling, and then you could go 2 weeks later, and all of a sudden you can see they're starting to find their spots on the floor. I remember I went to one practice and I think I turned to JP and I said, Pasquarelli's figuring it out. And you can see it. It's kind of fun to see one by one the different players figuring out a way to fit in. Let's move to kind of how the seasons go. You had a closed door scrimmage. And followed with a road trip and a solid exhibition performance against a really good Creighton team. And you played exceptionally well, 3 for 4 from three, a bunch of assists. And I made a mental note. All the assists seemed to be coming from the bigs that night, but you looked very, very comfortable against Creighton. Was that kind of a fun way to open the season with an exhibition against a quality team?
For sure. I think we all knew that was going to be a great first test for us. I think a lot we came away excited from that game. I think we lost by 10 or 12 at the end, but we had it to 6 with 2 minutes to go, and we were in that game the whole game, I think. And that's exciting. When you're playing a good team like Creighton, they're 22 in the nation for a reason. They're a good team. They're well coached. But we're right there. And it's exciting to see that. And we walked away, even though despite the loss, we walked away with our heads high, knowing what we can be.
Yeah, I watched from way up high with a lot of CSU fans. We were in
Yeah.
the, I was in the nosebleeds, but sometimes it's fun to watch from that high. You're not as engaged in the game, and you can't yell at the refs as a fan, but
No.
you can really see things kind of clearly. And I thought that at least in the first half, the spacing and the offensive, the structure of the offense was actually pretty good, and it looked pretty good. Now they have a guy in the team that was a top-rated prep out of Minnesota. That were in your year, Jackson McAndrew. Did you play? Did you know him very well? Have you played against him a bunch?
Yeah, obviously there's like I'd say that there's like top 10 or 15 guys in Minnesota probably go play Division One, and so you play those guys a lot growing up. I played Jackson senior year. I think a couple times at AAU. I think me and John played him when we were on the same team. So I played with him a couple times. So it's kind of cool to see those guys around. Obviously you don't want to talk too much to them because you want to be locked into the game. But it's cool to see those Minnesota guys out.
Yeah, so I was just curious. I figured, that I know Roddy knew a lot of the guys back in his day, and Minnesota. I always say this about Minnesota basketball. I used to get Isaiah and David to kind of yell at each other, and about which has the better basketball, and I'd say, well, Texas has the better basketball because it's a bigger state, but per capita, Minnesota is as good as it gets. There've been so many quality players out of
I
Minnesota.
would agree. I would agree. A guy named JoJo MacGyver. We've had the same conversation a couple times.
That's great. Yeah, so you and John can gang up on him, can't you? So hey, opening night rolls around, ankle injury to Rashawn, and all of a sudden you're thrust into the starting role. And you played easily the best game we've seen you play in a CSU uniform. What a difference a year makes. But, you talked about last year as a freshman, the difficulty rebounding. You rebounded well in traffic, and it was something we hadn't seen much last year. Could you feel it, and is the confidence growing as a result of just one game that you could feel that, hey, all that offseason work really helped?
Yeah, I mean that was another conversation I had with Coach Ali. Is I want to be on the floor for as long as I can. So I know I had to improve in that rebounding area, and that's something that I really tried to focus on this summer, and I think I really got better at. Obviously being in the weight room helps a little bit, but I see it more as a skill. It's something that you got to learn about over time, and I think I'm only going to get better.
Yeah, we've always known you had the offensive skills. The first thing I noticed was your ability to score around the rim with little simple. They look simple jump hooks. Uh, and they're not simple. Those are very, very difficult shots. And I was laughing because I saw you miss one at Creighton that I've never seen you miss. You could probably remember that one. You probably were shaking your head the whole way back on how the heck did I miss it? But you
There was
scored
a
a
couple of them. I'm not gonna lie. There was a couple of them I wish I had back.
yeah, but you scored a jump hook, you scored on a drop step, and then obviously you hit a three as well, and you got to the line a bunch. And you're a good free throw shooter. Anytime you can get to the line, that's buckets, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think 9 free throws in the game was probably the most I ever shot. So, if it's free points, I guess.
Yeah, no, but it was good, and it was fun to watch. And I had I don't know if you saw the thumbnail I had for the show. I put up the Ken Palm numbers. You're number one in the Mountain West in terms of offensive efficiency on Ken Palm for guys in 24, basically above 20% usage rate. No one on CSU is above. You were at 23. No one is above 23. All the guys, all the usage rates are spread out, and that's the wonderful thing about this team is the balance. And I talked about that Monday night on my post game show. Is that fun for you knowing that you're out on the floor with four other guys and every one of you can light it up at any given time?
Yeah, I think you've heard about it, but I think depth is one of our biggest keys this year. And when you play on a team with guys, all 5 guys on the court can shoot and pass and be unselfish and playing an offense like this, it's not hard to like it. It's been super fun. Obviously, I was a great first start, and hopefully we can stack days.
Yeah. The team shot the ball really, really well and got better and better as the game went on. Your guards went off. Carey can shoot.
Mm.
So let me ask you, if you and Carey in a 3-point shooting contest, who wins?
Well, that's a tough question. You always got to bet on yourself, so I'm gonna say me. But Carey might say otherwise.
Yeah, I would guess I wouldn't bet on either. I wouldn't bet against either one of you, but I guarantee you on one given day you'd you'd win. The next day Carey would win. It would just be
Mm.
back and forth, just depending on who happened to be making shots. Okay, I wanted to hit you on something real quick. You first time I ran into you this summer it was probably the first practice that was open to people. You told me you thought this team could be better than last season's team, and we know how good last year's team was. Uh, Tell me why you thought that way then, and do you still feel that way?
Um, I mean, I would say it's hard to be better than last year's team. We were great, but I think our potential is there. I think it's hard to put a ceiling on us. I think we're just going to continue to get better and better as long as the season goes. I think we're only going to get better. So, I mean, maybe we'll see. We're shooting for as far as we can go, but I think we have a chance.
Yeah, I after I saw the all the advanced analytical numbers on the players and the team after Monday night, I announced that CSU's going to the Super Bowl this year. So Anyway, so let me finish with this. Let me one more question, and then I want to get to comments. See if anybody's got some questions for you. But what does a successful 25-26 season look like for Kyle?
Oh, I haven't really thought that far, if I'm being honest. But I think for me, I want to win. That's all I care about. If I'm being honest, I want another ring. But for me, just produce wherever I can, whatever I can do to help the team win, whether that's rebound, whether that's score, whether that's play make. I'm ready for whatever. But I just I want to put my name out there in the league and show everybody that we're here, and and just throw my name out there.
We made a big deal about Lake being the first CSU player to play in three separate NCAA tournaments. He stayed all 4 years. Right now, Rashawn is tracking. He's 2 for 2, and you're 1 for 1, and Nicole is 1 for 1, but he only can do three. So you have a chance, and Rashawn have a chance to play in four of them. That would be something. Oh, here we go. Here's a question for you. What's your favorite CSU uniform?
Oh man, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to go State Pride. I think State Pride is good. Those are my favorite uniforms, but I'd say my favorite game would be Aggie Day.
Aggie
But my
Day.
favorite uniforms probably be State Pride. I think the State Prides are pretty clean.
I love this. I love the State Pride uniforms. I'm a transplanted Colorado, and I grew up on the East Coast and lived in California for a few years, but I've been in Colorado since for 40 years now, so more than half my life, and it is my adopted state. So I love the State Prides. I was going to ask. I never found out the answer to this. No one has ever I haven't contacted anybody. It was a whiteout for the fans on Monday, but you guys wore green. Was that always planned?
I have no idea. I didn't even know we were wearing green until I walked in the locker room before the game and saw they were green jerseys. So, I mean, I don't really have an answer.
I thought maybe Incarnate Word forgot their away jerseys and only
I
brought white.
mean,
I had no idea.
it's a
So here we go.
possibility.
Somebody here, Taylor, giving you a little gas here. One board away from a double double. Couldn't grab one more.
Yeah, I was trying. I think I don't remember who it was on the bench. Maybe Josh, but he was like, "Hey, you're one off." I was like, I'm gonna have to go get it. But saying I got 9 rebounds is a pretty cool thing to say anyway.
Well,
So I'm all
career
right.
high there, and career high on points too, and 4 assists. But I'll teach you a little trick about getting that 10th rebound. Foul somebody, get them to the line, you get and get them to miss one. Tell everybody they're doing all the boxing out. You're going after the ball.
It's kind of
Let's
hard. It's kind of hard to grab every board. You got guys like Kerry Booth with you on the floor. So
tell him it's yours for the double double, and you'll do the same for him if he ever needs
yeah,
one.
I think he
Here
had
we
9 in the Creighton game. So maybe now we're even.
Yeah, there you go. So here you go. Who in the Mountain West are you most excited to play this year? That's from my buddy Jake.
Ooh, that's a good question. Man, it's hard not to go. Probably San Diego State. I think Utah State. Probably just those top ranked teams. I want to go after them. They're ranked that high for a reason. They're good teams, and I want to get them.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you. I don't think I actually saw Utah State play in an exhibition game. I was out in Utah a few weeks ago, so I
Okay.
I saw them play. They're going to be a fun matchup. They'll be a good matchup for you because even though they don't run the same stuff, they're very assertive and aggressive and good offensively. Defense is a little different style, but they're very similar to the way you guys play, and it should be a fun matchup. And just like you guys look real good on the court in terms of weight room good, they added a lot. They added a lot too. A lot of those guys have been in the weight room. They're a lot bigger. So they're not, like a Tucker Anderson, who was a 6'9", 200-pounder last year, is a 230-pounder this year. He put on 30 pounds. I couldn't
Oh
believe
man.
it. So anyway, it's going to be fun and a great matchup. They're a good team, and I think we're gonna do fine. Okay, one last question before I let you go. Who's this year's Bowen Born?
Oh man. Bowen Bourne, man. That's tough. I'm gonna have to put Bowen in his own category. I don't even think that there can be another Bowen Bourne. I've never met somebody like that who brought so much energy on the court and who didn't really talk that much off the court in my life. But honestly, if I were to compare somebody, it'd probably be Jev. Jev, he likes to get it going on the court a little bit. He likes to show some emotion, but off the court, he's a pretty laid back guy. So I'd probably say Jev.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if you knew, Bowen was a family favorite of ours. My wife loved him.
Mm.
And I liked him because he wore number 13, which was my favorite number. And he's undersized left-hander, and I was an undersized left-hander. And as I always told him, you're obviously way better than me. I wasn't very good, but I was an undersized left-hander. And of course, we got a puppy, and we named him after. We have a puppy named Bowen. We named him
Wow.
after Bowen. So we name our dogs after CSU basketball players, and we have a puppy named Bowen now, so to honor him. So he's always been one of my favorites. Okay, one last question. I'll let
All
you
right.
go. Did Queen travel?
No comment, but I'll just say, it's tough to make that call like that in a game like that. So, it's a heck of a shot. It was well contested. You just tip your hat. That's all
You
you
know,
did.
I as a fan, I it was fun to be in Seattle. The up we felt when Lake hit the shot, and the down when that ball went in, and I still think if we had a second left, we would have figured out a way to score. Unfortunately, the
Mhm.
buzzer went. But at the end of the game, I've seen enough basketball and enough great basketball games. It's one of the best games I've ever seen, and one of the best tournament games I've ever seen. I've been to a lot of them, non-CSU as well, and I thought it was the best game that you guys played all year. Um, and it's funny, I had a text conversation with Nico, and both of us told each other neither one of us has watched the replay of that game. It's just too painful to watch. And I said, "What do? You play the best game, and the guys should go out of there feeling they deserve to win and should have won by 10. You played so much better than them, and things just didn't go your way." So it was just, as a fan, um, I didn't care if he traveled or not. We lost. We really played an exceptional game, and it was so much fun as a fan. And I think I speak for basically everybody. We appreciated all the effort and what everybody did last year, and we're looking forward to seeing the same out of you guys. The same effort, the same path, hopefully this year. So
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to get this thing going for sure.
So anyway, I'm gonna let you go, young man. Thank you. This has been fun. I love
Thank you.
having you. We're gonna have you. We're gonna have you again. I'll see you. I'll see you Saturday or Sunday afternoon against Omaha, and then we got a game mid next week, and then fingers crossed. I'm planning to go to the Loyola game, but
Okay.
I'm worried about flights. They're
Yeah,
starting to cancel lots of flights, so
for
I'm a little
sure. For
worried
sure.
about that. But the plan is to be there as well. So I'm excited to see the next few games and watch you guys grow game to game. And good luck on Sunday, Kyle. Thanks
Thank
again,
you very
man.
much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. Kyle Jorgensen. He's awesome. He's I'm gonna wax lyrical right now. I hope he stays here 4 years. I really do. And whether he gets an offer that is too big to turn down, like Kyan did, we'll never know. Um, he he could be. He is one of these guys. You can see you could see the growth from last year to this year. And big men, I will tell you, big men usually, unless you're out of this world, NBA ready, it's usually not till junior and senior years that you see big men uh, really hit their peak in college. I remember having talks with Nico about this, and Nico always wanted to have a big man in every class because he knew that the guys when they're seniors are a lot different than when they're a freshman. And so Kyle has made this leap and is already a productive player. Did well last year as a freshman playing in the Mountain West. Really has made a leap and looks a lot better. Like you said, he lost weight. He's not heavier, but he's stronger, faster, moves better, can play the four position this year. And he's really developed, and we're really looking forward to having him, and we're looking forward to having Rashawn back. There's so many different things we can do with lineups with Rashawn. We can play Rashawn and Kyle together. We can play, obviously he played with Carrie. Carrie's doing fine. We have Augie ready to go. We have Nicola coming off the bench as well. And so we have a very talented, very deep, and very versatile bunch of fours and fives. And that's going to be fun to watch over the course of the year. So I got a nice comment from Mick. Mick, thanks for watching. Great interview, phenomenal young man. I love Kyle. He's always just really, I don't know how to describe it. He's just a good young man, very mature. And it shows in the way he plays. Like I said, he played well at Creighton. He played really well against Incarnate Word. Like I said, 15, 9, and 4 is nothing to laugh about. I think we will have a bigger crowd on Sunday. I don't know. I hope so. The Broncos don't play. The women play before. You might pick up some people who buy one ticket and go to 2 games. I don't know. But here we go. Something from my buddy John here from Spokane. I was thinking the same thing. Swole, want to see Kyle and the Rams take down the Zags here in Spokane next year. Yeah, this would be a different conference next year, and it'll be fun. I mean, you look at the top of this conference this year, and then look at it next year when you've got Gonzaga, when you've got San Diego State, when you've got Utah State, when you've got CSU, and you go, there's 4 really good teams at the top there. They're going to be 4 top 50 programs if these teams retained and develop the players that they have. It's really going to be good at the top. 4 really top 50 teams, maybe even top 40, top 30. This CSU team I realize we have 1 senior on the entire team, Jevin Muniz. If everybody stays, everybody keeps developing, we've got some good freshmen coming in as well, and some good, guys developing. And I look forward to it. I hope. I have my fingers crossed, and we know what the current situation, current environment is. And Lee, of course, with this comment, St. Mary, that would be amazing. Can you imagine 5 teams? We'd have 5 in the we have a chance to have 5 teams in the top 40. I'm not kidding. It'd be that good a conference. So it'll be fun to watch. Anyway, before I go, I just want to again reiterate. Thanks everybody. By the way, this has been a good group, a great group. Like I said, Kyle. I go. Look at this. Confident, mature young man. There it is. And that's all it is. He's just and it's not, the thing I love about these players, and I saw it with Neek last year, best player in the league. And he was confident, but never pounded his chest. It was always just quietly confident. And Kyle is the same way. He's quietly confident. You see the emotion on the court, but you don't see the silliness. And I watch some guys, so they get a dunk, they get a steal and a dunk, and then they scream and they yell at the other team and they get a technical foul right away, and it's the dumbest thing. And it drives me crazy. I saw that happen in the Abilene Christian Omaha game. It's like, why do you just give back another point to the other team? It's just so stupid. I like the way our guys play with energy, with enthusiasm, with emotion, but it's all for each other and all for the fans, as opposed to worried about what the other team is going to do. So I did want to talk. Like I said, we're going to do a show on Saturday night with Tom. I'm looking forward to that show. We'll do about an hour. We usually do about an hour, and we'll recap all the games on Saturday, and we'll talk about the power rankings in an intelligent way. Um, I think it's going to be a good year for the Mountain West. I don't get hung up on losses early. It's never good to have one, but CSU, you never should be talking about quad four losses and quad five losses and D2 losses. You just have to worry about getting into the gym the next day and getting better. Um, the issues that other teams have, they have a chance to resolve them, and there's plenty of good players on those teams. The Rams figured out a way to do it last year. Uh, and like I said, they were a remarkable group of people in terms of the way they were very focused on getting better on a daily basis. You hear that, and it sounds so cliche. Last year's team was remarkable at that. So we'll see if this year's team can continue to grow, can continue to develop. We'll spend more time talking about the rest of the Mountain West on Saturday. Sunday, obviously, I have a game, and I'll do a post-game show. Um, at about 6:30. The game is at 4 o'clock. It should be over by 6, and should be home by 6:20, 6:25. I usually stick around a little bit, let traffic clear, try and say hello to players. The good news is I don't have to stick around very long, because I don't have to line up any guests until because I already have my guest for Monday. And my guest for Monday, I was successful. I set it up as a goal, but we will be having Brian Roth on with Marty. Brian Roth, the voice of the Rams, has agreed to join me for my Monday morning cup of coffee. We'll talk just about his role as voice of the Rams in general. I have so much respect for Brian. Brian is the most even-keeled person and does a great job regardless of the team's win-loss record. And to me, that's the ultimate in professionalism. I was telling somebody earlier today, I could never do what he does, because I would be an angry man if I had a team that was 2-6 about to take the field and not playing very, very well. And I would not do a very good job. And he's really, really good. And we'll talk about that. And then, of course, we'll talk about the CSU, what he's seen out of CSU the first couple of games, do it as from courtside as play-by-play. And then we'll make sure he critiques Marty, and we'll have some fun critiquing Marty. So feel free to join us Monday, and if you have some critiques, if you have some comments for Marty's performance, if you listen to the game on the radio, you can you can feed them to us, and we'll have some fun with Marty. But I'm looking forward to that. And then we got some more shows next week. So anyway, thank you everybody. John, thank you so much. Good show. I'm having so much fun. I'm having so much fun with this community. It really is a joy. I Trust me, I wish I could do a show every day. I just don't feel like I have the material. I talked to Ryan Williams last week. I wish I could cover the women like I cover the men. I just don't have the bandwidth to do it, and I don't want to do something superficial. I want to make sure we keep it in depth. I am so happy about the level of support I get and continue to get from CSU. We've had a great series of shows this week. We'll continue to get better and better, but it's all because of you guys out there. I mean, I'm just really having a blast doing it. So anyway, thank you again for joining me. We're going to call it a night. Everybody have a great next couple of days. We'll see you Saturday night tonight in the Mountain West, and then we'll see you Sunday night when I do my final bell show. So Thanks again. Go Rams.